And are you refreshed?
Yes.
Good. Now what is it you're wanting to talk about? Begin here. Right here.
I'll try and articulate this so that that I can understand it. Thanks. What I'm curious about is more of the God self, the all that is. And this is something I've been struggling with, if all that is has already all the knowledge from the very beginning, whenever that was.
Is that the way it is?
Well, I don't know. You're supposed to tell me. All that is interacts between human and human. It's like synergy. We feed off of each other, I assume. So
co-creating.
Right. But right now there's so much violence, and I guess your answer would be we're coming. Well, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. What I'm wondering is how we ever got off track from the very beginning, whenever human beings were formed, why, if we're of God mind, why we ever got into a feeling of lack or a feeling of violence toward another person.
Because you have chosen a universe of contrast, and the physical environment is a broader contrast for the purpose of moving forward. In other words, the physical experience is fine-tuning. So from your non-physical perspective, you saw the advantage of a broader contrast because you knew the broader contrast would erupt greater wanting. But you did not, from your non-physical perspective, ever expect to stay off of it. In other words, you knew that you could be touched by that not wanted, and that would help you to identify what is wanted. But you always fully expect to come back into the vibration of your own non-physical energy, and you always do, no matter what. When you began, and we were teasing you a little bit, as you were making an assumption that the non-physical perspective holds knowledge of all. Mm-hmm. And we say to you, the non-physical perspective is certainly broader than the physical perspective. You do have a broader awareness of who you are. You do have an ability to create worlds and stream thought energy magnificently. But the biggest advantage that you have is that you are not lackfully focused. But there will not ever be an ending to growth. We are eternal beings, which means there will always be motion forward, you see. And so if there were not a value to your physical perspective in adding to the broadening and the deepening of that motion forward, then there would not be reason for your physical existence. What we want you to realize is that as you are physically focused, you literally are the leading edge of thought. It is this intention with which you have come forth. You literally said or vibrated, and we will interpret the meaning, I will go forth into the physical experience in a physical body, and I will interact with the broad spectrum of beliefs and intentions that are there. And out of that catalyst of experience, I will get clear about what I am wanting to flow energy toward. You're sort of getting a sense of that?
Well, I guess what you're saying is we just since we're here, that it all worked out appropriately. Just by virtue of us being here as human beings, that's the way that we're creating or moving forward. I guess
you have come forth not accidentally or not by default. You have passionately, powerfully, intentionally come forth into these physical bodies with the intent of seeing through physical eyes and being guided from non-physical knowing to a more delicious experience than ever before. That is really what your intention has been as you come forth. But physical man, as he interacts with, as you listen to what is outside of you instead of to what is inside of you, you get further and further and further from your track of who you are. In other words, as each generation that came before says to you, don't do those things, as you hear one more thing to be guarded against, and you continue to take these guarded stances, then more and more physical beings are stepping out of that stream of connection.